God bless golf, everybody. Sunday morning. We got the crew here today. Just because every show we do has a little technical difficulty, this is episode 11, part 2. But it turns out to be a great day. Sunday, final round action. Timmy Tucker to my left, and left of him is Richie Spice. Boys, how we doing this morning?
Yeah, good morning.
Morning to you, brother. How we doing?
Yeah, let's jump right into it. Timmy Tuck, not off today, working this afternoon for his man Gary Woodland, Harbour Town. What a great week it's been so far. I was able to be up there in the middle of the week, spend some time with Tim, and watch Gary play a little bit of golf. You know, it's fun, always cool to be at an event with Tim. Got a lot of people coming up saying hello, hey, we're good to see you again, because Timmy has not been on the grass in quite some time. And what a surprise. I'm not surprised. Shows up, and here they are, a few, 30 minutes behind the lead, or in front of the lead group. So, Timmy, let's jump right into it. How's the week been? One, how did it feel to get back in it, and how awesome is it that you're here on Sunday right in the mix?
Yeah, it's great. You know, Hilton Head has always been one of my favorite stops. You know, I've have family here, so it's been great. Hilton Head is always, or never disappoints, man. It's lots of great people. The course is immaculate, and man, it's a fun test. And I have been surprised though, a little bit that the scores are as low as they are. So usually, you're right. 12 to 15, you're right there. So we're at 12 right now. We are 5 shots back of the lead. I think 2 back a second, which is great. We're going to have to do something great. I believe Gary can do it. We're going to need like 6, maybe 7 under to even have a chance. But second place is not bad in the elevated event. I think second place pays $2.5 million. So yeah,
nice take for the weekend.
Not a bad weekend.
No doubt.
Yeah, Chipper, you touched on that. The people up there this week at Harbour Town. Is it just a fun event to be at? Springtime in South Carolina, all that?
Yeah, it is. It's really cool. I had a lot of fun walking around that place. Calabogie Club is something special as well on 17 and 18. But I think the one thing I did mention is you can tell you're not in Florida after being at the Bay Hill and, being in the API Arnold Palmer and TBC. Although Florida fans are fun. We're all good people. It's just a little, it's a little more collared shirt, buttoned up, maybe a little bit more pride in what we're wearing, so to speak.
A little more seersucker.
Yeah, a lot more seersucker, just a totally different vibe. I mean, it's a low country South Carolina. Every place is different. It's not Florida. It's not even close. It's hot like Florida, and there's bugs and alligators and snakes like Florida, but just the overall crowd and vibe, at least what I noticed. Now, granted, Arnold Palmer, TBC, completely different animals in this event, but one thing that makes this event cool is just that part of the world, the low country, is just an awesome place, and it's a Pete Dye design, flattest walk you could ever find. And a demanding golf course. I mean, like Timmy said, these guys are, Fitz is 17 under, but there's a lot of birdies out there. The greens are perfect. And, these guys are the best players in the world for a reason, and they're dialed. It's looking like it's going to be a hell of a day. But, Timmy, going into that, obviously, as a caddy, you're not feeling the same emotions of what Gary's trying to think or what he's feeling. But you've been in these positions before, whether it's Bryson with a big lead, Bryson coming from behind, or right in the mix, having to win through a playoff. Is there anything that on a Sunday you're necessarily looking for, or is it the fact that you're here Sunday, you've seen everything you need, and you have no doubt that your player is just going to come out with the same vibe, the same body language as he has since the beginning? Now, seeing you and Gary work for a couple days, Gary's, like we've said before, he's a man's man. There's no fear or anything that he shows anywhere. He's calm, he's composed at all times, but as a caddy, are there things you've seen that before were like, okay, this is a little different, this go win this thing, or things maybe in your head that you're thinking, man, if we get to hear this, I should say this or that, or does it just kind of go with the flow?
No, it's just the same thing that we've been doing. He's been perfect in his warm up. His ball striking looks amazing this week. Driver 3-wood, not perfect, but he's a long hitter, so longer hitters miss more fairways. But his iron play has been amazing. I felt like we've been really good. I think he's strokes gained 7th approach to green, which is something that gives me confidence that we're having good communication and that his iron play is on point. We've had a lot of really close shots, and I think he's 26th in putting this week. Really great too. So I think if we just keep having quality looks, good communication in the fairway, having precise shots, having him hit a lot of shots with confidence, I think we're going to be right there at the end because his putting looks really good too.
You know, Tim, I'm glad you brought that up. I was looking at some stats last night. It looks like our stat expert here to the left is going to verify what I thought I saw. But I wanted to say, I think he's fifth in strokes gained approach. And then another stat that I'm wondering if you can equate the two, he's also either first or second in scrambling. So when he is missing greens, it seems like y'all have a good enough plan to where he does miss. He hasn't been short-sighted. Obviously, I'm sure he's been short-sighted a couple times and has had to be fantastic, which is what all these guys do when it comes to getting up and down from everywhere. But do you see? Is there a correlation between the guy's top 5 strokes gained, but when he does miss a green, he's in the right spot to give him the best chance to get up and down? I mean, do those two things, they really seem to jump out to me when I was looking at all of his stats. He also has the longest drive of the week at 347. No,
Bomber.
I'd love to know what that sounded like. But what's your take on that as far as those two stats?
Yeah, no, I think a lot of that has been just because his iron play has been so precise that when he has missed, it's been small. And also, we're playing our percentages and knowing where to miss. We've both been around Hilton Head a bunch, and it does give you the opportunity to miss in a few places if you want to be more conservative. There have been a couple short game shots that he's hit, and one was yesterday on 13. We got in a little trouble on the left side. He kind of hit quick hook, hit a tree, and we were short-sided and hit a great shot. He really, it's funny, I've picked up on him just, if he pulls 2 clubs out of his bag, he wants to talk through it. If he pulls 1 out, he's committed, ready to go. So that was good. I've left him alone with that unless I've seen him pull the 2 clubs. That's happened a couple times. We've kind of walked through the shot. Mm-hmm. He's been able to work through it. But again, man, that iron play and the fact that we're not having big misses has made it a lot easier on his up and downs.
Yeah, he landed in that bubble of acceptability where you can get up and down or make a long putt from, like we kind of talked about. You guys were doing some stuff in the practice rounds about putting from different surfaces and using a combination of some analytics there. Tell me what you guys were doing putting off the green. I know you've had a couple of long putts this week, changing from fairway surface to green surface, and you kind of touched on that earlier in our conversations this week about a method you guys have. What's that all about?
Yeah, just the method is that the stump speeds on tour running around 11 or 12, and what's interesting is that the fairway grass around the greens is about half the speed. So really, all we're doing is doubling that first section. So if he's 10 feet off the green and he's going to putt, we'll just play that as 20 feet because Gary paces all of his putts. So he's always applying his speed number to his putt. So we just double that value there from the fairway grass to the green, and then take care of add that to the rest of the putt, and it's worked really well.
Yeah, and that for all those out there listening, once again, as always, thank you for listening. Don't forget to like all of our pages all the time when you listen. But for those that are listening, it's a great point about pacing off putts. Even if you don't have all the tools to work on all those things, just feeling it in yourself, just walking 11 paces to the hole and say, okay, 33 feet. And then you hit a putt and you kind of have a sense of, okay, that's what it feels like. Never a bad idea to do it. Doesn't slow up play because believe me, people are slow on the greens. And even if you think you're being slow, taking a few paces here and there to find out your putts is just great. I mean, the best players in the world do it for a reason. And it's good to know. Timmy and I talk about it all the time. It seems like a lot of golfers would rather not know and say they are a field player versus finding the knowledge. I'm a huge proponent on if there's information you can find out that's as easy as counting and walking, it's always worth doing. Back to that, Timmy. You're putting through this fringe. I know the greens when I was there with you on Wednesday were firm. Have you noticed, I think Gary hit a 7-iron and we could barely find where it hit the green. It made an indention like that. Are those indentions gone? Have you made one since? I saw a couple balls spin on a few par 3s. Or have they kept it somewhat playable, fair? Have you noticed the difference of how much firmer?
Obviously the people playing, in the morning with the dew in the grass or, the water from overnight still seeping in. It's softer in the morning, but when the wind picks up, gone. It's going. Like, 18 yesterday. We had the pin was 30 on and we hit it, 15 short of the pin to release with the 7-iron. So,
guys were trying to stop it all day on
one. I think Scotty did that with a 9-iron yesterday.
Yeah.
I remember his ball hit the middle.
Harris English had a problem stopping the greenside bunker shot back to that pin yesterday.
Yeah. They're firming up nicely, and it's exposed out there. 16, 17, and 18, right there by the sound. It's the wind. You feel more wind there. It's drying out the greens. It was in the 80s yesterday. So, Yeah, I
You
expect
got some
them to-
wind coming today too, right?
Yeah, we do. I think there's going to be probably 12 with gusts to 20 when we're out there. So, yeah, I mean,
Spicy tournament coming
you
up
never
on a
know what can
Sunday.
happen, man. I mean, it's this course on paper, it looks pretty easy. And then you get out there and you start playing it, and it's like, it's kicking my ass. Like, what am I doing? Gary's been lucky. We've had, not lucky, but he's played great golf. He's had, I believe, 2 bogeys all week. So 2 days with a clean card, and Friday, I think 2 bogeys. But if we can stay under, under 2 bogeys, we just have 1 bogey today. I feel like he's gonna be right around the top.
Yeah, you know what's kind of interesting is if you go through these scorecards, because I was looking last night. Obviously, Fitzpatrick's 17 under, but Fitzy has dominated the back 9 and not really done much on the front. Same goes for Brian Harmon. He has lit up the back, not done much on the front. Pretty much everybody else on the leaderboard has been front 9 birdie heavy, not a ton on the back. When you're walking the golf course with Gary, as you guys are prepping, I know there's only, and especially with only 1 par 5 on the back, is there something that you see between the 2 nines that maybe for y'all is there a reason for that, or is that just golf is weird and that's just one of those weird things? Is there a big difference that you notice on the back, Timmy, compared to the front?
Yeah, I mean, the back 9 is more demanding driving. So if you're out of position a little bit, then you're not really getting quality looks at the hole. You're having to work the ball, and it's tough to get close. It's just 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, all demanding. Now, 17 is a very difficult par 3. There's 2 different tee boxes. The wind is tough to judge there, so tough to hit that green. 18 fairways is wide. It's not hard to hit, but the approach is really difficult. So
Yeah, you can land a 747 out there, can't you?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's true. Yeah, that is a huge fairway. It's funny too, is that 1 par 5 on the back. I remember we were having dinner on Wednesday night. Some of the other caddies were kind of talking about that hole. Some guys can't birdie it any day they play it, and then some guys it's the easiest eagle or birdie every time they play. So just kind of an interesting stat to see if Fitz gets off to a slow start. Is he just telling himself, I shoot 3 under on the back just in my sleep? Will there be some noise made if the wind does pick up? And, I mean, you look at this leaderboard. I mean, you got dog after dog. Fitzy, Chef, Harmon, Iwoo, our boy Gary. By the way, Timmy, you guys are paired with Aldrich Potgieter today. The 20 or 21-year-old beast. Have you played with him before? Do you know him? You ever met him? Do you know his caddy?
No.
Okay,
No, I've never
fantastic.
talked to him before. So
Wonderful.
But when I'm out there, man, I really don't even pay attention. I'm just
I know. You
involved.
wouldn't even know.
But yeah, I'm anxious. I've heard this kid can bomb it. I think, is that correct?
Yeah, I don't know
he
if
can
you'll
hit it a long way.
He can, and maybe you'll see him hit some irons. That's a fun group. I mean, you want to hear some sounds you don't rarely hear. Go follow Gary Woodland and Aldrich, because the one thing we were talking about on our other show on Friday that, of course, was jacked was that thumping sound that Gary makes when he hits his irons, and clearly he's just thumping the hell out of it this week too. So that should be an exciting group. Richie, if you're looking, hey, quick shout out, our boy Kurt Kitayama sits at T11 at 11 under. He's just 1 behind. So Daniel and Kurt. Kurt is playing some great golf. He's been in the 60s every day, and he's going to be out there giving it a run. So that'll be fun.
Anybody from about 10 under on with the conditions today will have a chance. That brings in a lot of guys, and if there was been a section of holes Fitzy has struggled on this week, it's 1 through 4. So wouldn't mind seeing a couple of bogeys early and just let's make the rodeo go here this afternoon.
I think if Fitzy shoots 68 or better, he wins. But a 2 or 1 under.
Par 70.
It's par 71. Yeah, 70. I think 20 is a magic number. So, hey, it's doable. And real quick, too, before we move off of this, I know when you're out there, you're working, you're not looking at anything, but obviously you're not deaf either, Timmy. Was there some noise? What was that like in that afternoon when it seemed like everybody was getting hot?
Yeah, we got off to a pretty good start. Gary birdied. He had an amazing shot in on 2, an eagle 2.
Yeah.
And then he made a long putt on 8. I think we turned at 4, and then we only had 1 birdie. We birdied 15. It wasn't that loud. It's what's funny. You can hear a little bit, but I only heard a few cheers out there while I was out there. I was able to stop by a steakhouse last night when I finished and watched just the last few groups come in, so could see some of that. And I saw Fitzpatrick played really well in the back 9 again. When I looked, he was in the lead. But Yeah, man. I mean, it's like Richie said, it's going to be an exciting day. The wind's going to bring in a lot of trouble, a lot of second guessing what you're doing. And so that's what we're going to make sure we stick to our program and keep taking quality iron shots.
Speaking of second guessing, that's probably in the program here. It's probably a good way to go ahead and talk about whatever is going on in the world of golf outside of out of LIV. Excuse me. A lot of things going on this week. I know in our conversations there was some chirping going on up there, guys. What is going on? What have you heard? Chipper, I'll start with you. You know, obviously big shakeup, very cloudy to me though. If you got any light, what you think about that?
So, it's good timing for this show. And, again, we've said this before, none of us are staying up or setting our alarms to watch LIV Golf, okay? We're not saying it's the greatest thing ever, but we're also not saying it's the worst thing ever. I know that on Wednesday, there were numerous people who have been dying to be right about this LIV thing for years. They've been dying to be right, okay? They've just wanted to shit on this product since day one, which, all started because Jay Monahan wouldn't take a meeting with a guy that's got $1 trillion. That's where it started. I don't care whether he says yes or no, but you ask every single tour player on both tours if they agree that Jay should have at least met with the guy, and the answer is yes. So they totally botched that from the beginning. So instead of just saying, hey, go do your little UFL or minor league football, but in the golf form, go do your LIV Golf. We're sorry to see these guys go, but they're gonna make some money, and the PGA Tour is the best tour. You don't have to stand on that day after day after day. Everybody knows. So anyway, turns out Wednesday breaking reports, guys aren't getting paid, this and that and the other. Then I get up to Hilton Head. Timmy's on the putting green working with Gary, and I'm just sitting there, sunglasses on, ears open, hearing little conversations between.
Just trying to hear what the wind brings.
Yeah, a couple tour players that are, some major winners chit-chatting the other, this and that. And, I heard this doctor's not getting paid, right? And so there was all this stuff, like nobody's getting paid, no one's going to show up in Mexico. Timmy and I then were joking that we were saying, well, I'm sure if one of those cartel guys walked in the room and said, all of y'all are playing this week. Like, I don't care what your deal is with LIV.
Yeah.
Y'all are playing, or you may never see your family again.
I have a very special set of skills.
If anybody see Narcos, that is not something that wouldn't happen. And turns out today is going to be round 4. And you have the CEO coming on and saying all of this stuff is not true. We're a new league. All these other leagues have been around for 100 years. We don't know which direction we're going to go. We're going to try to make it better. And that's it. And you got guys like, whether you like Ian Poulter, whether you like David Feherty, or the guys you don't like on LIV just because they went to LIV, like this is all of a sudden makes your decisions on everything because whoever you work for or connected to, they're telling you. I mean, I had a guy that is very successful in the golf space tell me 4 years ago, oh, LIV's over, like tomorrow. And here we are. And again, I don't want to be right about this. I'm not trying to be right about this, but there's so many people that want to be right on this. And the reality is all of these guys are going to end up sooner than later playing together in more than 4 tournaments a year. And that's all we want to see. I want to see,
I hope so.
I mean, if you were at Hilton Head today and John Rahm and Bryson and Cam Smith and Joaquin Neiman, I mean, those guys, not necessarily all of them move the needle. I mean, Bryson moves the needle differently than anybody, probably since Tiger. I don't care what anybody says, and it's good or bad. Tiger is mostly admiration, but Bryson, there are people that want to know, that root for him, and then want to hear a story from Tim about what a lunatic he is. I mean, that's a polarizing figure. And if those guys are in this field and we're watching that, I mean, think about what the leaderboard already looks like. Does it have to have those guys? No, but they're great players. We all want to see them. So as far as anything I've heard or read, I've just listened to people that work for LIV. Those are people like the CEO and those guys, and either they are putting up a huge smoke screen just so they can get out of Mexico without getting killed, and maybe we'll find out Monday. We can cover that next week. But my thing is, I'm willing to bet they're going to hang in there, and I'll leave, and we'll move on to something else. But this is the one thing I hate the most about people that cover sports, is when they talk about, well, the ratings, right? Like, nobody watches baseball. Okay, so the CEO for LIV said the PGA Tour is basically a product built for 60-year-old men, and they're trying to capture as many people as they can in the 340 million people that live in the United States. But there are 7.5 billion people that don't live in the United States. We're going to try to show golf to them.
3.4 billion of them don't have cable or access to TV.
Well, whatever. So whatever. There's still 100 times as many people that do have cable that don't live in the United States. Anyway, the point is like that's all he's trying to do. They don't ever talk about the PGA Tour other than I thought it was a great line. The products is these shows are for 60-year-old guys because what's every commercial when you watch the PGA Tour? It's it's some sort of heart pressure statin. You know what they all are, right? And so good for them. Keep doing what you're doing. I don't care. Like I'm hoping for everybody because all those guys. Like I want to talk to guys like Anthony Kim and Bryson probably wouldn't come on the show. But there's just a lot of guys on that tour that are really good at golf. And if we get to watch them more, that's great. And just wishing for someone's demise to me just seems like it's the way we are now with everything. And I just think there's a lot of guys out there that couldn't break 85 that are commenting on golf and what these guys are doing, and it's a bit of a joke. So that's my live rant.
And Timmy, I know you're on the other side of the ropes this week. You've been out there too. I mean, it's better for golf. I'll end this segment with this question to you. And it's better for golf to have everybody in one dome versus two fighting domes. I mean, let's put them all in the arena and let's see what happens, right? Nobody wants to, as Chipper said, nobody wants to split viewing. I don't want to have to watch two broadcasts. From inside the ropes perspective, is that the way the guys feel? As a consensus, you would say?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like these guys all get along, so it's a business, right? At the end of the day, I want to play against the best. Look, if you won the Masters and Tiger wasn't playing, did you really win the Masters? So, but
great point.
From me, walking, I don't care who's out there. I'm ready for Gary to get this done and hopefully be standing there at the end today. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Quick note on Gary. Obviously, the U.S. Open. He won by 3 over Brooks Koepka, by the way. And then a few weeks ago, won by 5. We had mentioned us early, and I don't want to let the show go without talking about a little bit about what Gary shared with us when we were walking the fairways on Wednesday about just his whole new way of practicing. And obviously this show, we could go on and make this show all about that. But just a few things for all those guys that are listening that are trying to get better. Gary's 42 years old. He's got a major, 4 wins on tour, just countless accolades, just a fantastic player, not to mention going through everything he went through with his health. This is a guy 42 years old that for the last 5 weeks is practicing a way he's never practiced before. And he's playing some of the best golf of his life right now. It's really made me think a lot about how I'm going to practice going forward. And so all you guys out there, there's a lot of ways to practice and make the most out of it. And Gary, as a 42-year-old, I think he even shared with Timmy, man, if I'd have started doing this 10 years ago. And he just started getting really dialed in on how he prepares and picking windows and how he wants to go about things. And obviously it was super, super cool to hear. Maybe we can share all those tips. Maybe we'll get him on the show one day and he can talk about it. But just keep in mind, folks, that when you're out there and you're grinding, keep searching for different ways to practice. Instead of trying to fix your swing, just use the swing that you have and figure out ways to practice where you're going to get the most out of it. So I saw it firsthand and listened to Gary talk. Obviously, Tim's been walking with him all week, and he's hit it just beautifully. So that part I thought was really cool. And we're pulling for you and Gary today, man. And when he won in Waste Management, I think he was 7 back of Ricky Fowler. So has an opportunity to do something special today, and I know he's going to give it his best. All right, Richie, what's next?
We're going to go right into a little mid-segment rapid fire here. Catch you boys a little off guard, see what you think about a couple things going on around the sports world and what your takes are. We got a little NFL draft coming up on the radar for most of us. Obviously we all have terrible teams, being the Falcons, Dolphins, and I'll say the Commanders, but Timmy's going to refer to them as the Redskins, I'm assuming at some point. So real quick, first off, what does your team need, Chipper? What do the Dolphins need right now to be better?
How many players are on the roster? It's 22. So they need all 5 new linemen, 3 receivers. I love our running back. I would love a dynamic defensive end and maybe a hard-hitting safety. So, yeah, that's it. Dolphins, my God. Dad, I love my dad, but some of the things that really piss me off is that he got me onto this Dolphins train. There's nothing I can do about it. Just stuck here forever.
As a sports fan, you are born.
I got a headache right now. Literally, just this segment. I need some Advil.
That's
They
why
have
we
to.
do this. That's why it's rapid fire, baby.
All right, get me out of here. Get me out of here, Timmy.
Exactly. That's why it's rapid fire. Timmy, what do the Commanders have to have this year besides a healthy Jaden Daniels to be successful?
You know, we need secondary help. We always have. We've done a lot on defense. They've edge rushers, linebackers. They're talking about picking up a linebacker from Ohio State. And
Sonny Styles, is that the
yeah,
kid?
I want
Yeah.
I want a look. I came from the days of Daryl Green, man, the shutdown corner, right? And if we had him, if he came back, I think he's going to play flag football. He's trying to get on the Olympic team. But anyway, yeah, I think we could use some secondary help big time. Sean Taylor or Daryl Green, one of those two. If there's someone out there, we'd love to have you.
You know,
All right.
real quick.
Well,
Daryl Green was drafted 28, right after Dan Marino was drafted 27. So literally,
Let me tell you
two best
something. When
players.
Sean
What
Taylor,
a nugget that is from the depths of the Panda's brain.
when Sean Taylor was a rookie, sorry, when Daryl Green was a rookie, Sean Taylor was 3 years old, and they played together in the same backfield.
Oh, that's
insane.
crazy.
Man. Well,
R.I.P. Sean Taylor.
Yeah, R.I.P. Sean. Keep your head low.
Great player. We got early season baseball going on too. It's kind of the next road of sports coming through. A little bit more entertainment than per se the last couple of weeks. Or last week post Masters here. But give me your picks this year for early World Series champ. Timmy, I'll start with you on this one. You know, I don't know how much baseball you pay attention to, but obviously,
he does.
we all do a little bit.
Yeah, I like to partake in some gambling on baseball. But I mean,
I believe a notation was made earlier in the pre-production call that there was a winner on the Oriole game last night. Is that right?
Yeah, there was. I mean, I don't believe in teams being swept, and so I always gamble that way. But I did try that theory the other night against the Dodgers, and they got smoked. So Dodgers, who's going to beat them?
Nobody.
I mean,
Nobody.
it stings the nostrils to say this, but who's going to beat LA?
I'm going to tell you something, and I'm so sick of hearing all the stuff people say about the Dodgers. If you've ever been a fan of the Georgia Bulldogs or the Alabama or Ohio State, if you're going to bitch about what the Dodgers are doing, there is a statue of Nick Saban in front of your stadium. They were playing a game on who has more money than everybody else for a long time. And Bama, Ohio State, and Georgia have been winning that game for the last 25 years. So now, you want to play a game on who has the most money? Okay, fine. Guess what? The Dodgers, they're loaded. And the guys they played and the guys they pay, are worth every penny. Freddie Freeman didn't have to leave the Braves. Mookie Betts didn't have to leave the Red Sox. So all these people talking about the Dodgers are ruining baseball, it's absolutely ridiculous. This is a game called we have money, we want to make our fans happy. And look, sometimes when you're watching the game, are you like, this is really unfair? Yes, a lot. But it's better than being a Rockies fan. Let's be honest. So
Absolutely.
of all the teams I root for, it's the one organization that does it right. So, yeah, the Dodgers are phenomenal, but at the same time, they literally could have lost Game 6 and Game 7 last year in the World Series. Anybody that knows anything about baseball, round ball, round bat, all these guys are getting paid. And is it a guarantee the Dodgers are going to win the World Series? Absolutely not. But are they? Probably. All right.
Probably. Yeah. Let's go right into continue to pick winners here. NHL playoffs are hot and alive. We are getting ready to watch what I think is the best live sporting event to go to. It's a smaller situation, smaller arena. I did not grow up a hockey fan living in Atlanta. I'm an adopted Lightning fan from my 2 years in Florida. What's going on? Who's coming out on top with the Stanley Cup this year? And we'll start with Panda on this one.
Okay, so unfortunately, my beloved Washington Capitals missed the playoffs, made it almost to the last game of the season, still somewhat in. So they are out. What I've seen the most, the Western Conference dominates hockey right now. The Avalanche,
Avs are pretty good,
the Golden Knights, the Oilers. I mean, there's just a lot of teams. The Stars are good. The Wild are good. This time of year, what makes hockey great is an 8 seed can go on a run. The days of the hot goalie aren't quite as they are today. Just these players are so advanced and so fast, and the clutching and all the things that normally would happen in the playoffs just doesn't happen as much. Yes, can goalies still stand on their head? Absolutely, but the save percentage numbers of goalies today's age is lower than what it used to look like. So maybe somebody sees, this only guy has an .899 save percentage or whatever, but just the reality is the quality of shots that are being put on goal are just completely different. And you got guys like Connor McDavid out there that's just better than everybody else. So
Gonna throw a random gambling question in there real quick in regards to that stat. Does that mean we should be going playoff overs?
Yeah, well, I mean, all
bad
gamblers love overs and love favorites. So yeah, take the overs and take the favorites.
Everybody go Oppo Spice.
A fun bet to make though on hockey is player props shots taken. You will find 2.5 from half to 2.5. You just pick a player. How many shots are they going to take? I will say this: look at teams, and if they score a lot of goals, just pick a couple guys, go over shots, under shots. I mean, it's a fun thing. I like taking overs in hockey because they pull the goalie sometimes, and then you get a bunch of BS goals. But as far as teams that win it, I'm going to go with the Colorado Avalanche. They seem to be the best all year. They have some of the best players in the league, and I think the Oilers, their shot was when they had the Panthers, but I don't think they're going to do it.
Timmy, what do you think?
I got nothing on hockey, brother.
Yeah, all good. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and go ahead and pull the Lightning into the conversation. I think they're back focused again. The East is a little weak. I think the Bruins can beat the Sabres, and that can lead them to an easier whatever. I know absolutely zero about hockey, so I'm not going to act like an expert.
Quick shout for anybody.
Hockey.
My one friend, hopefully Jamie Miller is listening, my one Buffalo friend. The Sabres, I want to say in December, fired their GM. They had the worst record in the league, and they now have the best record in the league. So
and they're the 1 seed?
And they are the 1 seed, yeah.
That's crazy.
So,
all right, final section here for Rapid Fire. Next major is the PGA. Who knows if Timmy will be on the grounds, if we'll be there. Who knows what we're doing here. Again, thanks for everybody who's listening. Like, subscribe, do the things you're supposed to do. Reach out for any stickers you need to get for Toddler Zone, which we'll have coming up here shortly. But who is going to win the PGA? And two questions here. Who's going to win the PGA? And then within the next two majors, will we have a Grand Slam?
Okay, can you remind me before I answer this question?
Absolutely.
Who needs the PGA for the Grand Slam?
So Senior Spieth needs the PGA, and Mr. Scheffler needs the U.S. Open. So rare year here where we've got two opportunities for greatness. So
can I throw this to Timmy first?
Yeah, let's throw it to Timmy first.
I mean, I don't know about the PGA.
Because you've been to Aronimink, Timmy. Tell me a little bit about what you remember about that place.
Yeah, it's a big golf course, but I don't think it wasn't demanding off the tee when we played it. Now, how the PGA is going to set it up, I don't know. But if it's like it was when we played in 18, then, a long hitter is going to have a great advantage there because it's not as demanding. Xander's been playing great. He's won the PGA. Why not again? I think he's trending nicely. Obviously, Bryson is a threat if the weather's dry. So we'll see.
Need the Timmy Tucker fist hammer down to seal your pick before this is over. I need to know what it is because you're 1 for 1 this year.
Crapshoot. Scotty Scheffler. Bam.
Bam. How about that?
Chalk.
Okay.
Chalk.
I'm going across the pond. For some reason, nobody in Europe likes people from England. I didn't find that out until I went to Ireland. But anyway, you know who I like?
Nobody likes British people. Shocker.
I like the British Bulldog. I like Justin Rose winning the PGA at Aronimink. Almost broke my phone. I'm going JR. I like that guy.
We got technical difficulties now somehow. I'm sure that's coming.
Nobody can hear anything. No, I heard some stuff about Jay Rose that I can't repeat, but it kind of made me like him even more. I like Jay Rose. I'm a big fan of his, and that's who my pick is. Throw that at you, Spice. I know you like normally picking Tiger in every major, but he's not playing this one. So you got
my standards are my Tiger and DJ picks from the early 20s, late 19s are no longer relevant as we were robbed from the great Dustin Johnson years. But I think Aronimink, you think Northeast Golf, who plays well there? I think guys who've won Travelers. I think PGA is a major that can be a good first major for guys.
Bryson has a good record up in that part of the world too, New Jersey, and
he does.
I think
Boston.
I think he relaxes, and I actually think that's who I'm going to take. I think he relaxes, plays some golf. I think him and John Rahm finally get in the mix for a major this year. Obviously, we didn't see him much on the weekend in Augusta, so there's probably a little chip on the shoulder, probably a little bit like you got with Rosie. But
John Rahm's leading.
I'm going to go with Mr. DeChambeau.
Leading the LIV event.
Right. Yeah, well, let's put some pressure in practice, John. Obviously, you're not pressured to live, so
I don't know, man. Maybe they need. Hey, you know what? Maybe they'll some of those secret birdhouses at Augusta. Maybe they'll start playing music next year for that.
Here's what I will give my stamp to.
What's your song?
The spice stamp.
Imagine that through the woods.
No, I got a cup of coffee here, so I'm not going to give it the full stamp.
All right,
I'm going to
so
tell you
going
Scotty
first.
Scheffler's going to win the U.S. Open this year.
Okay, so yeah, because the Scotty Slam.
Yeah.
What would we call it?
Yeah, the Scotty Slam.
Career Grand Slam. That would, okay, yes or no, would that kind of piss Rory off? Like a year?
Oh, absolutely. Spotlight.
Like a year after
done.
I win the Grand Slam, here comes Scotty, as if, yeah, it's not that hard to do.
Rory, what took
Secretly,
you so
Rory's
long?
like, come on, man, just give me another year. But oh God, and
The only thing- if that happens, the only thing Rory can do-
if Spieth wins the PGA,
Oh.
I mean, and he won't. He's not gonna.
Well, and let's touch on that for a second, because if he does, not to go into too much detail about golf fans, if Spieth wins the PGA, you can forget about those 7.6 billion people, bro, because everybody loves Jordan Spieth.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah,
love Jordan, man.
I'm sure people in Bali would love to watch the PGA, but it's probably, they're a day ahead of us, so I don't know how that works. Justin Thomas currently 22 shots
some early
behind
action out there.
Matt. 22 shots behind Matt Fitzpatrick, and Tony Finau is now 29 shots behind Matt Fitzpatrick. What are we doing, PGA Tour? Get these guys. Nobody wants to see these. Well, maybe somebody wants to see these guys. You're getting real good.
Cup of coffee on the back porch at the condo at Harbour Town. Probably
Just
cool to
watch
watch a couple
JT
guys.
just. Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah.
He should be on a plane. He should be back in Palm Beach working on his putting stroke.
At the Grove.
Yeah, wherever.
Well, listen,
No,
this is not always.
international.
This is always everybody's favorite segment coming up here. We pair these two together because they are often and can be one of the same. We have a pretty strong nominee here for the Toddler Zone. I'm going to let Panda start with our weekly Don't Be That Guy. Panda, who you got this week and why?
All right, well, so this week, Don't Be That Guy is Self-Righteous Tour Pro or Self-Righteous Professional. Max Homa gets up there. They're asking him about Sergio Garcia, and he just starts saying, yeah, it just makes us look like a bunch of spoiled brats, and there's no place in the game for this, and yada, yada, yada. And then probably less than 30 hours later, you're on video chucking a wedge because you missed a green from about 125. Max, I love you. Everybody I know loves you. We all love you. You had a hell of a run when all those guys left to live. You just shot up that money list and world ranking and really played your ass off for a while. You switch clubs, switch balls, golf game's not there. You used to spend a lot of time roasting people on Twitter, making fun of them. You don't do that anymore. Then you said the internet's really mean, and then now you're sitting up there as if you're above all of this, and then get on videotape doing it. Hey, instead of jumping on Sergio and talking about what a jerk he is, just say, hey, this golf game will make you do crazy things. And instead of screaming at the top of your lungs, MFer, for every kid to hear in the fairway, you decided to throw your club forward. We're all human, okay? Let's not make ourselves bigger and better than we think we really are. So for all those guys listening, which I'm sure every guy, as they're warming up today, getting their speed at Hilton Head, is listening to this podcast, and they're just wondering, what's Chip going to say? So just say less. Say less. Say less, okay? If you can't figure out what to say, just stop talking.
Just don't say a word.
Yeah, don't say a word. You're good at golf, but it probably ends there, okay? So
Right.
It's like when Rory starts talking about finance, it's like, look, Rory, you're great at golf, and I know you probably shouldn't have to be answering these questions, but dude, you don't know what you're talking about. So just let it go. Say less is my term. Because literally the more you talk, just kind of like me, it just sounds dumber maybe. But no, for real, Max, quit throwing your clubs. I know you're in the event because nobody gets a cut. Let's see how you playing today. Yeah,
He's
you're
three.
-2.
He's 3 deep today.
He's
trying to
tied
make
for
it right.
62. Tied for 62nd place. Good job. Had there been a cut, would he have made it? He would not have. But good for him.
I think he would have.
I don't know. Even par?
Nah, 2 under.
Well, he's 2 under now because he's 3 under for the day. But if there was a cut, he shot 70.
He shot 70. Yeah, so he was 2 under for the cut.
Oh, yeah, maybe so. I wouldn't have put him on. I'd have cut him. Got to shoot at least 3.
DraftKings, no pick.
Is he sponsored by DraftKings?
Congrats, Max, on being that guy this week.
Yeah, come on, Max. By the way,
Do
Max,
better.
Huge Dodger fan though, so we don't.
Of course, the California kids.
That's right, baby.
I can't get away from the Dodgers if my life's saved.
Well, hey, you guys decided in Atlanta that Matt Olson. You went with Matt Olson. Now, look, Freddie's had a couple decent.
Are we trying to
moments in the
touch
World
buttons
Series.
right now?
I'm just saying.
Are we trying to touch buttons right now?
Matt Olson. You put your franchise on Matt Olson and said, "Go, Freddie, go do all that shit in the clutch." Because we hate that over here. We're not making the playoffs with Matt Olson. Anyway.
By the way, can we just say this right now? And I'm only saying it, and I will not look at the camera. But the greatest World Series moment in my life is Freddie Freeman for somebody else, and it's so disappointing.
Yeah. Which one? He does it every year, so you're gonna have to be more specific.
Freddie Meat Gibby.
I know.
Freddie Meat Gibby.
All right. Where were we? Oh yeah, Okay, so this is gonna get in our toddler zone, which is pretty easy, and it's a week late because what we do things when we want. And for 4 days, you guys were listening to Masters Dribble by a bunch of guys that probably know how to write, but have no idea how to hit a high 4-iron. Sergio Garcia just lost his mind. And one thing we like about Sergio, one thing I like about Sergio is he does not give a you-know-what, and never has, still doesn't. Been playing bad all year. Drove it in the one bunker at Augusta that you can't drive it in on number 2, right? Like, nobody hits it in that bunker. Sergio hit it right in there. And then just, took it out on the turf and swapped it a couple times. Was in later seen carrying John Rahm's bag, which I don't know if you saw that, Timmy. I liked his form. He had a little bit too much lean forward. His back's going to hurt. You try to caddy like that all the time. But someone apparently from Augusta came over to him on the 4th hole and just said, hey, it's still an invitational. I know you have a jacket, but we can uninvite your ass. I'm sure he said, I'm sorry. And we moved on, which, of course, here come every LIV hater there is. I'm sure I can't even imagine what Brandel was saying about that. I'm sure he used the word atrocities at least 47 times, as if he makes his
No, he did bring
shoes.
up the fact that he led the 99 Masters, which
Yeah.
that blew me away.
Brandel. Yeah. And I don't want to make this show about because I know people that have met Brandon and they say he's really cool. I've actually met him twice, and I thought he was really cool too. But he's really high on this LIV thing. I'm sure he makes his own shoes. I'm sure nothing he owns has ever been made by a 6-year-old kid in some foreign country. So good for him. I'm glad he's standing on his morals with LIV Golf. I'm sure his phone magically got cobalt in it from Central Africa. So, good for you, Brandel, and way to stand for all those people that are opposing everything that is so terrible about LIV. Yeah, Sergio lost his mind. A couple days later, wrote an apology letter, just like all toddlers do, right? They're bad. They scream. They act like a fool. Drives you crazy. And, 10, 15, 20 years later, you love your kids again. So...
Well said.
Sergio,
your sticker's in the mail.
We love you, Sergio. I don't think he's a Dodger fan, though. We look forward to
Real
seeing
Madrid,
you in
baby.
future majors.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Keep playing well.
Get us back on track, Richie Spice.
Not too much left here. Obviously, we've got a great Sunday coming up here for Harbour Town with our boy. We're going to be watching intently. We're pulling hard for something special for you on Sunday here. Would love to. Can't wait to see how that unfolds. It should be a good day. There's some elements. As I said, there's some wind.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. But let's get some closing thoughts here on the week that was. Any final thoughts from the Masters or final thoughts from Harbour Town as we shut this episode down?
Timmy, why don't you lead us on this and just tell us about your week from a gratitude standpoint, or just how fun it's been to kind of be back out there. I'd love to hear some of that a little bit.
Yeah, 2 things. Well, one, let me talk about Augusta real quick. Richie had the opportunity to play Augusta with Bryson and member out there. And, what he said to us was,
Love it.
Augusta controls everything. Because I had asked him about the rules and what, do you get a member, handbook to know how to do everything here? And he goes, no, you just figure it out. But he said, Augusta controls everything. And, the Masters is a theater, right? And they make it that. It is an amazing, unique show every single year. So I thought that was really cool that he said that, because every year it does not disappoint. So, and I would say that this was a great Masters, and I loved watching it. I watched every shot. So that was fun. I flew out to Hilton, had a day early so I could watch the final round. But I
love that. A little pre-planning just so you don't have to be traveling during the Sunday.
Correct.
I love that.
And then as far as Hilton Head, today's a little overcast. Hilton Head, man, if you haven't been here, it is an amazing place. Harbour Town's a great golf course. There's nothing like standing on the 18th hole, looking at the lighthouse and Calabogie Sound, and it's just going to be an exciting day. I'm glad that we are in the mix. I think best finish here with Bryson was 3rd, so hopefully we can improve on that. And if Gary has a day, you never know who might be hoisting the trophy. So good luck today.
I'm into that.
Love that. Yeah,
Panda, what do you got?
I'll piggyback on that. Hilton Head, just so So cool. I mean, I've been here a bunch of times. Used to come up here a lot for work, but had not been out to Harbour Town in over 20 plus years. First off, just want to thank Timmy and Gary for letting me be a part of that. It was really a lot of fun and good to see all the guys out there and follow them. And, to Timmy's point, I mean, they are tied for 6th, but they're literally 1 shot out of 3rd and 2 shots out of 2nd. So right in the mix, and all you can hope for is just some quality golf. Man, I'd love to see like a Fitzy, Scheffler, Woodland playoff. I know Timmy doesn't want to walk 73 holes, so he's hoping he wins it in regulation.
It depends on how much the 73rd hole is worth.
Well, if there's ever a place to go extra, that would be the spot.
I'll tell you what I should do today, Panda, and you'll agree with this. I should go bet on the top 5 right now, and that way they just all get just spiced. Completely spiced.
Yeah. Go bet on no.
There's ever a day to jinx somebody.
Scheffler and Fitzpatrick.
Even go ahead and place some money on Potter Geeter or what Pot Geeter.
I see Pot Geeter shooting over par today. So Gary hopefully will just be focused on his game. Get off to a great start, and it's gonna be fun to watch. Actually, Ace has an ice skating date at 2:00 today. Some girl from his class.
Oh, the handsome man's got himself a girl already, huh?
Yeah. Anyway, so I'll be watching a little bit on the phone, but then we'll be pulling hard. And like I said, you got a leaderboard full of dogs. Other than Pot Geeter and Oberg, everybody tied 6th and above has been there, done that. So should be a great time. And again, Hilton Head, what an awesome spot, and just a great event for anybody who ever gets up here, get a chance to do that. And hell of a week. Good to spend some time with Timmy. Always great when we talk on the phone, but when we get to hang out for a couple of days, that was awesome as well. And learned a lot, as always, watching Tim do what he does. And that's it for me. So if Richie, you want to wrap us up, and again, everybody, thank you for listening, subscribing, hit that like button, get on our Instagram page. A lot of things coming in the future. Go ahead, Spice.
Yes, sir. We'll sound the siren here on this one. It's been a great show. Timmy, have some fun out there today. Panda, holding hands only here. But that's all for us at God Bless Golf. Have a great time if you're out there playing today, doing what you're doing. God bless golf, boys, and we will see you next week.
God bless golf. Timmy, Richie, see you, boys.
Thanks, boys.